place where we can go and be alone. So come away with me, nobody has to know where we gonna go. I was just calling to see if you're free to run away with me, to run away with me. Don't tell your friends, we'll let them know we're safe later on. The road's calling, sun on our skin, sleeping under stars when it's gone. I was just calling to see if you're free to run away with me, to run away with me, to run away with me, to run away with me.
Dear friends and family, we are gathered here today to witness and celebrate the union of Jenn and Tracy. In the time they've been together, their love for each other has grown, turning them into the couple you see before you now. They are ready to spend their lives together as a married couple. A true marriage begins well before the wedding day, and the efforts of marriage continue well beyond the ceremony. A brief moment in time and a quick stroke of a pen, that'll happen later today. Make sure we remember y'all, because they won't be married afterwards otherwise. That's all that's required to create the legal bond of marriage. But it takes a lifetime of love and commitment and compromise to make a marriage durable and everlasting. Jenn and Tracy, today you declare your commitment to each other before your family and friends. So I'm going to ask you to please take a moment and turn and appreciate all the people who have come to this beautiful place to celebrate your wedding with you. Everyone, I'd like us to take a moment of silence now for the loved ones who couldn't physically be here with us today, in particular Vicky, Jenn's mom. We have a lovely photo of her on the table right there. Thank you. Story time. I heard some folks talking about this before we came in, so here's the real story. So Tracy and Jenn met on Bumble and had a very romantic date at the Cheesecake Factory. The Cheesecake Factory, as you know, has a giant menu. It's like a book. Tracy had been burned by several experiences before that over the past 4 years, so she came to this date very jaded. But at least there was a lot of food to pick from, and it was low stakes. She had just begun to entertain the idea of dating women, and so they had a nice dinner. Later, Jenn said that she talked a lot, and Tracy said, "You didn't talk at all." Jenn was incredibly nervous, over-caffeinated, and had to pee 4 times. They were there for 2 whole hours, and at one point, Jenn asked her very subtly, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, what her plans were after dinner, and Tracy goes, "I'm going home and putting sweatpants on." Apparently, Jenn was not explicit enough. She called her cousin and said she didn't know if she should call Tracy. And Tracy just thought, I guess it went okay, but they kept texting back and forth and planned another date. They did a lot of brunching whenever Jenn came to Omaha from Seward. And Tracy remembers in therapy, of course, processing her queerness and how it was just so off her radar and unexpected. She mentioned to the therapist, she's just so peaceful and calm. I just held her hand and I don't know why I did it. And the therapist said, that's because you like her. And it was game on from there. Then Jenn cooked dinner for her at her house, and Tracy, of course, being a therapist, said, I'm going to be very vulnerable with you and tell you that I'm drawn to you. Jenn was not expecting that, just stared and said, okay, thanks. Tracy almost had a panic attack, wanted to disappear. The next day, she slammed her best friend's door and said they had a situation. She was freaking out. And her friend said to give it some days, give it some time. 2 or 3 days later, there were flowers at the door that said, Merry Christmas, cutie. And that is when she realized that Jenn liked her. Come New Year's Eve, 2021, they went to a Roaring Twenties party, and they both knew at that point that they would be exclusive. 2 weeks later, they said, I love you to each other. A year later, they were living together, and the rest is history. So then there was a proposal, right? When he who shall not be named won the election, they were both not okay. Tracy had been thinking all day and said they should think about getting married because they wanted to make sure legal things were in place as spouses to protect their home and their family, and Jenn agreed. She had a ring ordered and a proposal put together 2 days later. She cooked her favorite meal, had candles, flowers, pumpkins, as well as a fancy tablecloth and china. She wrote a letter, and then the dogs were wearing signs. Some of you saw this on Facebook, I'm sure. One said, Mommies, we're tired of you just being girlfriends. And the other said, will you marry Mama T already? She got down on one knee with one box, and one of Jenn's rings from upstairs and put it on her. Jenn, of course, cried. She had texted her earlier and said she didn't have to do anything fancy and she'd never expected a proposal from anyone. But Tracy was adamant that she deserved a thoughtful and wonderful proposal. She also told her she needed to propose too. They went to a sound healing class 2 weeks later, and Jenn ordered some of her favorite food, satin rose petals, and tried to arrange pumpkins into a heart and had her wait outside in the car. Their song, Mazzy Star, played, and Jenn said, I can't get down on my knee because I won't get up, and said a lot of sweet things. She had the box. Each turn. Oh my gosh. So she had the box, and they danced to their songs, and the dogs ran around, and the pumpkins flew around. A perfect image of their lives. So they told me that they sent each other poems, and I love that the couple loves poetry. I'm a former English teacher. And so we're going to actually begin with a reading by Bell Hooks called All About Love. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move towards freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. That action is a testimony of love as the practice of freedom. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. The choice to love is a choice to connect, to find ourselves in the other. I'd also like to read you a couple of poems that Jenn and Tracy had sent each other during the first year of their relationship. The first poem is by Nikita Gill, and it's called, Do You Think We Are Best Friends in Every Universe? Here is what I know. I have loved you in ways I cannot love myself. In moments I hated myself, you have loved me for who I am. When the world feels like it is ending, you have made me laugh. I have held your hand through every heartbreak. We may not be family by blood, but every day you are the family that I choose. If there is such a thing as two halves of one soul, it is me and you. I believe we are best friends in this universe and every single universe beyond that one, too. Exactly. The second poem is by Carly Crispin. You saw qualities in me that I had been waiting for a man to catch sight of, and yes, there was a physical attraction, but you looked further into the back of my mind, into the depth of my loving, and you saw me, the me that had felt so irrelevant to men for so long. You drew light to this version of me, arranged a celebration, and I never want this party to end. It's time for you to declare your intentions towards one another. Please take each other's hands as I ask you to share intentions. Do you, Jenn, take Tracy to be your wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
Good answer. Do you, Tracy, take Jenn to be your wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
Well done. I will now do a reading called All I Know About Love by Neil Gaiman. This is everything I have to tell you about love. Nothing. This is everything I've learned about marriage. Nothing. Only that the world out there is complicated and there are beasts in the night and delight and pain, and the only thing that makes it okay sometimes is to reach out a hand in the darkness and find another hand to squeeze and not to be alone. It's not the kisses, or never just the kisses, it's what they mean. Somebody's got your back. Somebody knows your worst self and somehow doesn't want to rescue you or send for the army to rescue them. It's not two broken halves becoming one. It's the light from a distant lighthouse bringing you both safely home. Because home is wherever you both are together. So this is everything I have to tell you about love and marriage. Nothing. Like a book without pages, or a forest without trees, because there are things you cannot know before you experience them. The couple has written vows for one another that they will each give now. Tracy has bravely volunteered to go first.
So I'm going to hold this for you? Yeah. I started crying when I saw Jenn, even on our first look, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, man. Okay. Jenn, I remember sitting together in your car by the pond in Seward. You let me read the letter you wrote to your mother. In that letter, you shared with her that you thought we were going to be right where we are standing today. That day solidified my knowing. I knew I'd marry you one day, and here we are. We're getting married. Given the whole whirlwind planning of a wedding in under 2 months, it didn't really hit me that you'll be my wife until yesterday when I was writing these vows. But I'm really excited. So, Jennifer Ashley Gleesberg, I promise to bring intentionality each day into our relationship. I vow to be on your side and on our marriage's side when things get tough. We've been through a move, introducing pets, sick pets, major surgery, tremendous loss, job changes, burnout, and learning how anal retentive we can each be about different household tasks. But through all of it, we embraced, we ran towards each other, So I promise to keep running towards you, to love you even when things are hard, and especially when things are hard. I promise to keep putting effort into our love, so we might need a bigger box for our love note collection. I vow to be honest with you, but careful with your heart. I vow to keep working on my own growth and well-being. I'm trying to be an old lesbian with you after all. I promise to keep being weird and making you laugh. I vow to do my best to speak kindly and with love, and to hold myself accountable when I screw up. I promise to stay committed and true to you. I will listen and I will hold space for you. I promise to be the best puppy and kitty co-parent. Jenn, I'm so glad we found one another. You are the love of my life, my home. Shit. Thank you for bearing witness to who I am and for letting me be myself. My heart is safe with you. In this marriage, I vow to grow with you, to love you, and to support you until we draw our final breaths. And then our souls will be together beyond that. Wherever your heart is, I call home.
Tracy, I spent many years desperately searching for meaningful love. I fell hard and fast for too many people. Our relationship showed me that lasting love doesn't have to happen fast. It can spark and burn slowly. This is a love that I know will never burn out. I have never felt so seen and understood by someone until I met you. You see my hard sides and remind me to let those guards down. You appreciate my soft sides and help remind me to advocate for myself. You see my weird, funny side and laugh along with me. I see you. I understand your beautiful, bold, and quirky self. I promise to keep seeing you in all your forms and love them. I promise to always be by your side to get through the mess of life together. I promise to show up for you when you need a steady hand to remind you just to breathe. I promise to make our relationship a priority, to be willing to nurture and care for it. I promise to, after multiple years, actually fill out my passport paperwork so we can finally visit all the places you already have fully planned on Airbnb. I also promise to take you on many more brunch dates so we can always have the best breakfast. I also promise to remember how much I love you even when you load the dishwasher wrong. And I also promise to love you to Pluto and back.
The brides have chosen a unity box ceremony. This box will contain notes and letters that Tracy and Jenn write to each other throughout the years that they spend together, and they will open it on every anniversary, so New Year's Eve, easy one to remember, to read them. The box will document how their relationship changes and grows. Jenn and Tracy, perhaps you might display this box in a special place in your home or placed in a more private space for safekeeping. But may it always hold a special place in your hearts and create a memory of your lives and love throughout your lifetime. Today we will begin this tradition as Tracy and Jenn place their wedding vows into the unity box to be read when they celebrate their first anniversary. Here you go. It's time for the rings. Jenn and Tracy have chosen rings to exchange with each other as a symbol of their unending love. So Jenn, we'll ask you to grab your ring first for Tracy. For Tracy. Yep, you're good. Jenn, as you place this ring on Tracy's finger, please repeat after me. With With this hand, I will lift your spirits.
With this hand, I will lift your spirits.
And with this ring, I ask you to be mine.
And with this ring, I ask you to be mine.
Tracy, as you place your ring on Jen's finger, please repeat after me. With this hand, I will lift your spirits.
With this hand, I will lift your spirits.
And with this ring, I ask you to be mine.
And with this ring, I ask you to be mine.
Now read for you both The Promise by Heather Berry. Within this blessed union of souls, where two hearts intertwine to become one, there lies a promise. Perfectly born, divinely created, and intimately shared, it is a place where the hope and majesty of beginnings reside, where all things are made possible by the astounding love shared by two spirits. As you hold each other's hands in this promise and eagerly look into the future in each other's eyes, may your unconditional love and devotion take you to places where you've both only dreamed, where you'll dwell for a lifetime of happiness, sheltered in the warmth of each other's arms. And now, by the power vested in me by the state of Nebraska and the internet, I now pronounce you wives for life. You may now kiss.
Feel the warmth of the summer. I get lost in the colors, golden hours in your eyes. There's a world to discover. All of me's full of wonder in your light. I'm paralyzed.
Very early on, I knew I wanted to marry Jenn, and it's not all been rainbows and sunshine. We've gone through some really hard stuff, but I feel like if we've done all of those hard things, then we can certainly weather the storm that will inevitably come up. But I love her. She's my peace. She's my safe space. She's my home. And we've made a family together.
Even though there can be chaos in the world around us, I think together that there's always going to be a peace and a love there. And I don't think that's going to waver ever.
It's a